live in 3, 2, 1.
Fade from black, this guy. Hey, welcome to the Creative Audit. This is one of our first test episodes. I have a good friend of mine, Austin, sit down with me today. He's already been here for an hour helping us get this thing set up and was here 3 hours before that just helping me on a project. This dude is committed, and not only to creativity, but he's a recent husband. He told me not to say that, but it worked with the committed thing. He's in. He's all in. He's an all-in dude. He runs a creative community. He's a freelancer, and he has his own podcast. He's been doing this longer than I've had the idea of having a podcast. So his name is Austin, and he's sitting with me here today.
Well, that was well done. Dude, I'm so pumped to be here. Can't wait to see what unfolds.
You're so known in the community. And at the very onset here, this will be a local, regional podcast at best.
No,
So
it's going global.
But so the people tuning in likely are familiar with your yellow sweatshirt,
Obviously.
but then like your silo
Yeah.
work. But
Yeah.
if they're not, what are some of your events like? What would you say you do?
Yeah. So our main 10 poles have been these capture events, which are mainly photography, modeling kind of things. And we just gather a ton of people. It's open to the public. It's free. And we say, hey, you need to build your portfolio. We're just going to have a bunch of people at your disposal that also want to create, to come together and do free, like trade for print, kind of trade for gallery kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so we put in the hard work of getting the models there, photographers there, building sets if we need to, having like a studio space if that's the vibe for that.
Yeah.
And you just have to show up with your camera. You get free photos. If you're a brand, hopefully there's photographers there that want to do brand photography.
All right.
And it's just a big networking event. And so those are our tent poles. We do those 4 times a year. And then in the past, we've done poetry slams to help out those that are more into written and spoken word. And we've just done, you've been a part of our first event, which was Cultivate, where we had like a whole round robin of presenters and stuff like that, workshops that you've done.
Yeah.
And then we also do Mosaic, which is where we take nights to share about the arts, and we put people as presenters and they just go to town, like explaining what they do. But it's not about like their promotion and teaching. It's about, hey, what's my process? And it's going to look so different for every person, and I'm not perfect. And I think that's the coolest part, is that it's like specific to them, and we want that to be a free-flowing, inclusive space for people to even give critiques if they needed to, but it's not about that.
Yeah. And the Mosaic in particular is a pretty beautiful thing. Like it's its
So
own
good.
ceremony.
It really is. It really is. I never think about it that way, but like it truly is like, just like it's a soaked space. It's like very deep, and there's so much respect.
Yeah.
I think that's like, it's one of the coolest things, because it's not like a do. It's a, let me sit back and really understand these people.
Yeah. Creatively, are these events producing? Are you always thinking we can do this better? Are you you're like, these are really nice. I just wish more people would come. Like, where are you at in the growth of that, or it's feeling good? And
it's tough, because always you want to chase the numbers, right? It's all about numbers and analytics, and that's what's forefront in like culture nowadays. And I have to remind myself that it's not about the numbers. If 2 people came out, I would like to say I would still have the same feeling as if 200 people showed up. Obviously, that's not the case, and I can't even begin to say that that is true for me. But I always turn back to that. I have to care for the people that are there, and I have to care for the beating hearts that do show up for me and also for the event and stuff like that. So to me, I really do have to remind myself that it matters that every single person decided to show up, because for me as an introvert as well, I know that like I would never show my face if 3 people showed up to an event. Like I have to know that I can be kind of like in the background, and then if I feel comfortable, come forward. So I'm always creating events and spaces with me in mind, which is one of the more like, harder parties to cater to. I mean, I think it's crazy because Gavin Smith is like the co-founder of Silo, and he's brought basically this version of me out of me. And I think one, that's super important to realize and acknowledge, but then I realized that like I want to do that to other people too. And that can be done in multiple different ways, obviously. But for me, it's like, as soon as someone catches a glimpse of like, yeah, I hate my job, but like I really love like sewing on the side, and like I don't know how I can like get out of this rut. And I'm like,
Yeah.
let me stop you right
rise
there.
up.
Stop right there. Don't ever say that you're like not able to do this thing, because I guarantee you I can figure out a way to make it possible that you might not be able to see because of A, B, and C, but like I want to help you find that. And even if it's something that's super boring to me, like if you're getting a rise out of it and you're like, you feel like you're limited, I want to be able to encourage that out of you. And I think that's a product of both Gavin and the Holy Spirit working inside me. And so, yeah, I think on top of that, the community and the media that surrounds it is definitely like part of my mission. And I think that's the thing that also needs to get out of me, of like, I just need to make stuff and create stuff. And that's just like one avenue of how I could. And so I do freelancing and like photos and stuff like that on the side that aren't related to Silo.
Sure.
Those are also passion projects. But for me, Silo is a way to impact people through the art that I produce.
Yeah, and have that. That's what you and I got so connected on in an initial meeting. We're saying really similar language of like, don't you dare tell me that you or, and it sounds like there's not a lot of grace there, and like someone can't be in a bad spot, or just they don't see the light or see the pathway yet. But you want to help somebody break through because you have had that moment, and you're like, it's one of the best feelings of my life.
Yeah.
And even that makes it sound too self-interested. But really, dude, it feels like it's in you. Like, so to make this about me,
Not again.
I literally was told, like almost in every single grade level, that, so all these memes that we see today of like poorly drawn characters, or I think, man, I forget. I really wish I remembered these artists' names, but Oatmeal, is that one?
Could
my
be.
Goodness.
I wouldn't put it past him.
But there's these artists, who draw these very poorly drawn people.
I know exactly what you're
They're
talking about.
characters.
Yeah.
And they're more successful, and we can say financial. Who knows? How do you define success? What do you mean by? They're more known than my art teacher,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
and they draw the people that I drew, and they told me I would never be successful by drawing. And well, that's not what art is, and your people can't look like that, or there's all the things that I was told that art is, and what it isn't. There's this moment in second grade in particular, and we're going to get into school because we had talked about school before. I'm finding my way there.
I'm ready for it.
So I wonder if you've had similar, like, bad school stories of mine. You alluded to something potentially about school, and I wonder if it's like mine. I hope you have this moment. Maybe I'm just like a forgiveful person. I need to let this go, is what some people would tell me. But this stuff, it's still in my head. It must have shaped me some way. So everybody needed to draw the school like this exterior. It was going to be in the yearbook. So like every single, I think it was second grader, drew the school. And they all get hung up on the wall, and none of them get graded, I believe. It was either none of them get graded or they all had A's. I think both are terrible.
Yeah.
Hot take about art class.
Get it.
I think both of those ideas are bad news because the kids understand whose is the best. They knows whose looks closest to what the school actually looks like. So regardless of how much you say, they're all the same. They're not. That one's better than that one, and that one's worse than that one. So that's true, but that doesn't mean you can't draw. It doesn't mean you're not creative. And I believe if we're looking for like this, these what's wrong with the world today, you could have this list of things, and I think one of them is that creativity is beaten out of us at a very young age because we don't know how to take it beyond paper, pencil, draw the apple, can't draw it, or even getting into paper mache and like being this art is this abstract thing, and then people, what is that? They don't know what to do with this paper mache Elmer's glue mess. And and I get why we do projects like that, to experiment and to play with things. Like I'm all about it, but at the end of the day, as strange as it might sound, someone's paper mache Elmer's glue mess looks better than someone else's. So like doing all these projects and then putting them on display is what I'm saying. I'm saying totally do these art projects, do these works, but don't go in the hallway and hang them up and think that you're making some kid's day, because you might be ruining the last kid on that list because visually he got an F. And I know people don't want to say that, but the kids see it, and that kid sees it, and potentially he doesn't care, and that's amazing, but potentially he does, and he was like me, and he wanted to be better but wasn't, and knew that he wasn't like Susie. That wasn't her name, but I do remember her name. I do remember who had the best drawing. So what I'm saying is, I'll do it one more time, in every other grade level, where do we take our history papers and hang them on the wall and have other kids read them from A to F? We don't do it.
No.
It's handed down, right? Your math test is handed face down and slid across, and you pick it up like you're playing poker.
A. Then those people are like, I got an A. What'd you guys get?
And they run around.
And then you have the Fs, and they're like, I got an A. Puts in their backpack.
So triggered, Caleb. Is that even, what is that? What are you hearing? Am I making sense?
Yeah, you're making sense. I think it's interesting because you think about the wall, and I'm going to take it to digital media immediately. You think about the wall, people don't put their F work on the wall, right? They put their A+ work on Instagram. They show the best that they can. And then we also compare ourselves to that. I might go off on a completely different tangent than what you want.
Please.
But like the fact that it's so curated often doesn't show the diversity of the art, which is okay. But I think when you are able to, go from 2nd grade to 7th grade and see the progress of your own work, hopefully that gives you like reason to even put your B work on the wall instead of the A work.
Yeah.
And realize that like, hey, we're all gonna have Fs and As at some point. I don't know if that ties completely in, but what I'm hearing is that like it is tough. It's tough because for that person that isn't doing the best, it's like the biggest deal. And then for the person that does do the best, either if they tried super hard or if they're naturally gifted in that, or it took them, 7 hours in private to do that.
Right.
You don't know the experience behind each one of those.
What their parents are like, if they are drawing all the time at home, if they're coming in with nothing, coming in with natural ability, learned ability, all these things. And then it's like the only subject that we say, oh, it's all good. It's all the same. It's not all the same. And I actually think that we do that to protect, but truth is actually what will unlock these kids and set them free, and again be a step one to. So then when they come to your events, like I'm going down to I'm going to go save this grade school kids, and then when they come to your events, you'll have more. That's how more people will come to your events.
That's the funnel right there.
Yeah,
we're on it.
You're like
in 17 years.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll finally have the people we wanted.
100%. So in your school, mine goes deep back to kindergarten.
Yeah.
But how far does yours go? Does yours go? We got into school before we sat down, and you're like, I think we need to save that for the pod. Where were you?
You were just like, how was your schooling? Did you hate it? Did you love it? And I think I was at a point where, like, just naturally, or because I was just disciplined maybe to do like consistently decent work is how I'll put it. But just because of how I was raised, just like, hey, we're just gonna try our best at these grades and not like push to be like the A1 student. But also we had standards, I think. And here's my upbringing is that for like every A I got, my grandmother gave me like $30 or something on my report card. So like obviously that added up and was a lot as a kid.
Every A on it.
Every A on my report card,
Which
and it
comes
was like 6 or 7.
Quarterly?
It might have been quarterly. It might have been quarterly back in the day. I was making bank. I will not. I will not put it. And that was definitely like a blessing.
That's awesome.
But like I think that also pushed me. I think it was just also naturally driven in school to do well. I was an introvert. Like way. I would never talk in school. But I think for me, you know, I would say I breezed by. It was like, it came pretty natural to me. And I was in like honors courses because I wanted to push myself. And maybe there was fear in that as well of like, hey, I need to do well for the future.
Sure.
Not knowing that I would go into a field that doesn't need a degree.
Right.
Here we go.
Right.
But I think for me, it was just, I was able to breeze by things that were to others a lot more challenging. And so I think I was in a privileged spot and growing up just to be able to do that.
Sure.
And I think that also impacts where your creativity is too. If you had other things to worry about in your life, leading up to that point, you know, had to focus on those things other than being able to express yourself fully. And I think expression obviously is a huge part of art. And so if you had the mental freedom or capacity to overflow into expression of your art, that is a lot. That's a huge blessing that not everyone has.
Yeah. And let's not take it away from your parents who wanted to give that to you, and then me who wants to give that to mine. And
yeah, what are some of the ways that you're sprinkling your like inklings of creativity into their lives?
Well, I'll stick with the hard thing for a moment. Unintentionally, life is just not we live in 900 square feet, where it's a little tight. They will never tell you there's not enough room. They will never say they don't have enough toys. I'm happy with the version of hard that I'm giving them.
Yeah. That's big. That's a good statement right there.
But I would like to make it a little easier.
Yeah. As any parent would for their kids, you know? It's not based off of income or whatever. There's always going to be another level of easier that you can give to them.
Yeah, and for me, that one is really not even about, man, if they just had newer bikes, or if the car wasn't a 2011, like, it's not even that. It's, for me, it's the space, it's the playground, it's the more, people would say Montessori type tools. I'm saying the word Montessori because people will know what I mean. I don't care what the thing's called. It's just more primitive tool. So like some of the ways I think with kids is as soon as if they want a play phone or they want to play anything, keyboard, and they're holding a stick, when you put a real keyboard in that kid's hand, that stick can no longer be their play keyboard because now they have this association, this attachment, and it helps in their imagination. I think is like a rung lower because they no longer have to imagine the keyboard. They have a keyboard. And so we're so pushed as parents to feed our kids this real stuff. It's freaking everywhere. You can't escape it. And it makes noises, and there's like cat pianos now, and it's all of this stuff, and it's like, well, so I can't afford all of these new toys, so there's that, but I also wouldn't buy them if I could. Like, I think it's, so when I mean more for my kids or less hard, it's the fact that I want to do for them what I think what you're alluding to, what your parents did for you. Like, so it's a savings account so that when you want to get lost in your 20s, you want to have a room to fail, you can do that without ruining your life.
There you go. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then a green space, so a home with a little more trees and more spaces to break bones and get hurt and do stuff.
It's all about experience, right?
100%.
So you got to break a few bones to learn.
Yeah, dude. And so that's where we're at, man. And we made some of these choices, and that's some of the stuff we're doing. And So you then you did go to take it back to school and less off me, who doesn't like to do that? 'Cause I think you're seeing that I'm passionate with this
Of course you are.
kids thing.
Yeah.
Even these kindergartners, like there's something. I can't interview kindergartners. Maybe I can. Maybe that can be what this turns into.
I mean, juice box pod.
and see what's going on with them. But man, I could go on. So to shut me up with school, you don't seem to have the same. Like all throughout college, all throughout high school, I wanted the crap out of there. All throughout college, I wanted the crap, wanted to be done and out. But I never did. But you seem like, what's your college journey? It sounded like you mentioned like I ended up in a field that I didn't need this thing anyways.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on
Yeah. So,
college for you, not prescription for the world? Yeah.
so I went to school at Penn State, and I got a 4-year degree in psychology. That was what I was passionate about out of high school, but it was so hard to
I know
like
that, yeah.
to feel like there's a career there, because you have to go for like your master's to get anything in counseling.
Oh, okay.
So I knew 4 years was like baseline. Like I should go to college just because I should go to college.
Sure.
And also, I was just super blessed that my parents had like savings accounts for me to help pay off some college stuff. So I went to the cheapest college I could.
Sure.
Penn State York, not just Penn State because that's expensive. But I went to college. I was able to commute, so I didn't have to pay for housing. Lived super close to it. And that afforded me a lot of things. It didn't afford me the community that I actually wanted, because I wasn't forced to be in rooms with people all the time. I'd be in a class, I'd dart to the library and hang out there until my next class. So I wasn't able to build community there, but I was able to have those like experiences that I needed to have as a young adult.
Yeah.
And funny enough that I got so much into like cameras and stuff during that time that none of it really, paid off in a meaningful way other than applying the psychology skills into normal day interactions and in filmmaking and photos. So that did pay off a lot. But I do think for me, if I were to go back, would I need a degree, or like, do I think if I knew that this was the path I was going to take, do you think I would go to college? I would say no. I'm pretty self-taught in like YouTube University.
100%.
So for me, it wasn't a waste, but it was very valuable to me.
Yeah. Dude, your school story is different than mine. I actually didn't even know that's what you went to school for.
Yeah.
I just assumed video, and I actually had you in an LCBC in Lancaster for some reason.
Oh,
I don't know why.
I feel like that's where
had
most of
you
my
there.
friends went. So
Oh, okay.
Gavin went there.
Could be once there, but I didn't know that. So your degree though has come out like in your work as you question with people, as you try to understand them, and then so you're probably, some people say, I think they even call themselves like, I'm an empath. Is that the first time you've heard?
No, I've heard that before. Yeah.
So do you relate with that in your psychology degree? Was your connection to wanting to understand people?
I think that's definitely it. And while I have a hard time like communicating that because my social skills aren't the best,
Sure.
I think I definitely feel like stories on a very like a deeper level. And like I think when people talk about their like, hey, I'm really struggling, or I don't know how to find my way out of this, that's where I'm like, I have been there. Like, let me help dig you out of this hole in any way that I can. And I think having a community like gives me unlimited resources to make that happen.
Sure.
And that's solely because of, being able to talk to people.
Yeah, I can send this person your way. Talk to this guy.
Right. And it doesn't have to be me. I think that's like one of the biggest things. It's like if someone has an issue that like I can't personally solve, like I know this person went through a similar thing that can actually empathize with you even better. And having like that self-awareness of like, I can't solve all of your problems, or like, and not that I'm being asked on a daily basis, like solve this problem for me, or like, I'm getting sob stories every morning or something, but like to have that community allows everyone to be lifted up in that way.
Yeah, and it's maybe you wouldn't say it externally, it doesn't matter, but like in a way, your social work makes it sound like it's you're a social worker, but if you had to explain it to your pastor, you'd say it's your ministry.
Mm-hmm.
You'd say that's right, and doing it in a modern way where I think some of us are. Man, I didn't know I was going here. It's like revisionist, like they have bad run-ins with Christianity, with the church, with all these things, and people. I had bad run-ins, bad relationship, bad people. People who label Christian and so for me, there's this leveling. You just want to be with people, and I hope this could be the wrong thing to say, but it's like I just happen to be Christian. Like it's not.
It's the biggest thing. It's not on your forehead. You know, like it doesn't. Like some people would say it needs to be, but I think, it's okay for it to be like not the second most important thing in your life. I'm not saying that, but like you're allowed to have a community that you don't have to be like, oh, I'm gonna sneak in the Christianity later. Like it's literally just you're loving people.
Just do it.
Just love people, and like that's all it needs to be in that moment. And if people have questions, that's where you come out and you say like, yeah, I can help, and this is why I am this way.
Yeah.
Right.
But in these spaces, I'm finding myself on YouTube. I don't lead off my comments with, well, as a Christian.
Right.
They're asking for help, and you help. And you...
it's a slow burn. Yeah. It really is. It's, okay, well, no one in the world talks to me the way that you do. What's going on? Why are you being different to me? Like everyone else hates me. Why are you even beginning to have a conversation with me or treat me like with actual respect? Because some people don't get that from people. Yeah. So why are you different? And then that's where you come in and you're able to speak the life that they need to hear in that moment.
This thing you don't want to happen, this prodigal son moment, prodigal daughter moment, you're literally creating it by not allowing their journey to be their journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ooh. Dude, the places and the spaces we go at. This is past my bedtime, 10 o'clock. I'm already I've been asleep for 30 minutes by now. But Austin, to get us out of here, to get you home, you have a drive. I have children who are probably screaming inside right now. But also to not make you sound like you have to say this quickly. And what's the big dream? What are you after here?
What am I after is a different question than 5-year plan kind of deal.
Like, what does it mean?
Yeah.
What are we doing this work for?
I think it's just to go back to like the younger me thing. I think a lot of people have told me it's like, if I had this when I was younger, fill in the blank. And I think for me, it's just so fulfilling. Maybe it's a selfish thing at this point. It's like, I don't really have an answer. It's literally like just so fulfilling to create, but I'm in this for 4 years now. And I know I made friends through the thing that I've built and through the things that Gavin has built with us. And so for me I think there's a little bit of sunk cost, but also it's a positive spin on that of like, I'm in it so long. I've been sewing into these people's lives for so long. Why would I stop now? If I want friends is a pretty like basic need, right? And so I want to be a part of people's lives just as I would want them to be in mine.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I mean, it brought me out of my shell to the fact that I do have friends from Silo now.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be a disservice to not grant that power and possibility and opportunity to other people. But like the long-term goal was to have a space where it's a physical space where people can bring it together.
Yeah.
And I mean, within a 1 year span goal, it would be for this to go full time and me to make enough money freelancing that I can go full time and do podcasts on the regular and video content and work for small businesses.
Yeah.
Because I want to believe in other people. Maybe that's a thing about it. And I need build people up to do that.
How far away from that do you think you are?
I want to say closer than I think. I want to say that I've been like dreaming long enough, and it's time to make it happen. But you know, it's a lot of, you know, variability. I know I've been talking to you for like the last 3 years about this, so you've heard enough of me saying it's time to take the jump, but I'm not sure.
Sure, but you've also seen me tell you about my jump, and then you've seen kind of not the most cleanest path after the jump.
No, but that's part of it. Like, you wouldn't be able to be doing this now if you didn't have that many failures. And I like just can't. Whenever people say stuff like that, like, "Oh, my life is still messy," I'm like, "Well, guess what? That's a part of my life too."
Bro, you jumped out of a plane. Did you expect?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it is what it is, and as long as you are like able to support yourself, which you have obviously, because you're not like anywhere else in this world right now. You're still working through it. And I know that you're going to be successful in the next months, if not like just like, I would say years, but I would say also months, because I know it's coming sooner for you than you think. So yeah, I think for me, it's will the stars align? I don't know, but I might have to jump before they do. So.
Love it. My last question for you. We ask everybody on this podcast. Somebody else is in control of your life tomorrow. You wake up and you have a CEO. What's the thing that they change? What's the first order of business that they change about your life? They come in, they assume control over your being. You have planktons in your head. He's over here with the levers. What's he changing? What's he changing for the better?
For the better. Okay.
Yeah, it's good plankton.
It's like, what are some of the things that I can live with right now, but someone else is like, that's the first thing I would say is going. Is the messiest thing that I can't be a part of.
Sure.
Huh. That's a good question. That's the creative audit at work, if you will. Man, I think it's definitely, it's tough because it's also, I think, a strength for me. And this is like a job interview question. Okay. But like also like my work ethic and like how I will just like, if I'm on a whim, like get that creative pulse. Like I just need to act on it and I will work for 4 hours. Sorry, Katie, I need to get this done. Because she understands that me working 4 hours actually saves her 8 hours in the future of me being away doing stuff that I don't want to be doing, or like the creative sprint, like 2x's the productivity that I would have during like a normal day.
Lock in.
Yeah. So if I can lock away for 3 hours and get out these ideas that I have and like edit this video and actually record a podcast, you will actually see me more, even if it is at a peak time that we're trying to like hang out.
Sure.
So I feel like for that, they would immediately be like, no, spend time with your wife. And I would say, I understand that.
I see what you're saying.
But you also don't, you're not in the head of my wife where she's like, I understand that like, he needs to get this done out of his head and I will see him more.
And actually get him when he's here.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. It's not prolonged. It's full attention for work and then full attention for family.
Yeah. Dude, if you don't mind, can I open this up again?
Do it.
So how are you guys working through that? This is where I would love to have her here, because I think Kelsey had to learn that about me in certain ways. But then I've grew out of that a little bit, where you have to control your sprints because I got kids. Like you, as much.
It's a different season of life too.
Yeah, everyone's. These things could hit at like 10 p.m. at night when I used to be as young as you. But how do you feel like she's managed, or how do you make it not seem like this bad character trait where, what if she then all of a sudden I gotta get out of here for 3 hours? Like, would you be as accepting of?
I mean, I think it's an easy yes for me, because I know I need it, and I know from my perspective, like if she just needs to do something to just like get it off, like she just needs to do it, and I'm like, it's what needs to be done, as long as it's not as often, like whatever the frequency is. Like mine's not that often,
sure, but
like I don't know. It's just I think it's never been like a negotiation. It's always been, no, Austin, if you need to do this, like, just do it. Like,
Because you're actually
because
doing it.
Yeah, because I'm actually doing it, and there's results that also prove that, and I'm
Right.
not just like goofing off on like, you know, playing video games or something.
Right.
But also, the same thing is going to be reciprocated if she needs time away or just, you know, get her hair done. Okay, do it.
Right.
If you need to get your hair done, you need to do it.
Yeah.
Like, that can be a form of expression. So why would I stunt that?
Sure.
I buy gear. You spend the same amount of money on your hair as my gear.
Oh.
So
Yeah. I mean,
I can't complain about that.
no, without a doubt. When in these moments, in these sprints, when's the time like they hit like really inconveniently? Like,
I think a lot of it happens like at work.
uh,
Like when I'm doing like more just like, yeah, just some boring work which I still do photo and video at work. So I think it's just not as gripping as the things that I'm most passionate about, like editing or thinking of ideas, or
Sure.
I think just in general, working for other people for me has slowly become like something that's just like, you know exactly what that feeling is
right.
actually.
But in that mundane, what feels like it's like your favorite song, it's like your worst favorite song, like on repeat, like you know all the words, that murmur is where you dream. Like when the work is,
I think when it's so monotonous, I'm just like, I'd rather be on that private island
Gotcha.
with the beach chairs and the warmth.
yeah,
And it literally is like a thought bubble.
So
And
it
then
just
like
unlocks.
in here, yeah, it's just here. And I'm like, well, I have to write all this down because I'm at work and I'll do it later, but it needs to happen. And then, I think too, it happens when I'm just being productive in general. So like if I'm doing the dishes, you know, you've heard of shower thoughts,
right.
but like when I'm doing like the dishes and I'm like, well, you know, maybe I could like do the wash too while I'm at it. And maybe this is me just being a good husband on air, but like, I just need to do the next thing. Oh, maybe I should just clean too. Like that's another form of like creative sprint that I feel like it's maybe just a productivity sprint where I'm just like, I'm just going to do everything because I have the energy for it.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to do it.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you ever found a bottoming out with that? Like you're like, you ever feel like you were just chasing that to-do list only for the to-do list? Your work doesn't represent,
Yeah.
it's good quality. Like you're not just checkbox hungry.
Right. Yeah. I think it's like, it's new. It's like 5 new things every day. And it's not like new ideas. It's like, these are tasks that need to be done for the greater good of Silo or the greater good of like me furthering marketing for my own business and for me to actually acquire new clients and stuff like that.
Right.
So a lot of it, I wouldn't say any of it is like chasing those because none of them have a hard deadline other than like some of the Silo promotional stuff.
Sure.
Which is hard deadline, which is set by myself, which is set by me having to be online and showing up for people.
Yeah.
Which in the end of the day is a good thing, but the way that Instagram and social media is a trap is a whole other conversation. But no, I passionately like run after almost every single thing.
Yeah.
And that, you know, a lot of those can be like, I don't want to get you the wrong idea that like 30 of them are like the greatest idea for the YouTube channel or like whatever. It's simple things like needing to respond to these emails and hey,
sub tasks and small tasks.
right. It's not all glitz and glam or anything like that. But like,
stuff.
there's a lot of like, hey, and these ideas never like. There's a lot of them that have sit for a while. Like,
Sure.
I want to do more like square videos on my Instagram where they just keep looping because that's a really cool thing. Where if it's not a reel but it's in your post, it loops like a GIF, and I think it loses quality, which is kind of dumb.
I see.
But it's really like an interesting way of like, I've seen a lot of people post their work in like GIF formats, and it's so cool that like just like it's like how they do like layouts where it's like 3 like little sections of their video in screenshots, but like just moving aspects. So I want to do more of that, but that's like not something I need to do by Thursday. That's just an idea that if I have a time and I'm already like in that premiere, like in Chicago premiere, I'm gonna just cut up a few clips.
Right. Yeah. You it sounds like you capture your thoughts. Have you always done like you just hold your thoughts captive? When it comes in, it's out. I track it.
I at least track it. Some of them never get done.
Sure.
But
you get it out.
I need to get it out. And
Empty it.
one that's just, I can't be mentally in 30 different tasks.
Yeah.
It all just needs to come down at this point. I mean, I think for the longest time, like 4 years ago or probably even longer ago, is like I already adopted a calendar where like I need to do stuff. Just like a normal like life calendar.
Yeah.
And like I feel like that was really early, like early 20. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everyone in their early 20s at this point has a calendar.
Maybe.
But I feel like I don't know. I was like I got so packed so quickly.
Man,
and like
this
nothing.
man's got a ledger. What is he doing?
I got a person that follows me around and says I need to do stuff sometimes. No. But like, yeah, I just mentally cannot do it because I think new ideas pop up too quickly that I need to just get them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's if you want to go a new level, man, I know you've probably heard all these different productivity things that exist.
I wish I could be on Notion. If you're gonna say Notion.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's way too much for me.
That's my biggest problem.
But Things is a nice upgrade.
I did hear about Things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I just like Notion. I'm like, man, I want to redesign my entire life around Notion if I do that. You know, like I want all the different boards, or you can do anything probably in that. It's like a full sandbox. But I think that the biggest thing is that it is definitely a time commitment to like build out what I would want, and I don't even know what's possible, and then I have to watch hours of YouTube videos. Hey, well, that's not a problem for me. I watch plenty of YouTube, but like,
ooh, what's your watch count? What's your watch hours?
I don't like just on YouTube. I have no idea. It's probably way. Where do you find that? If you bring it up, I'm not ashamed of it. It's just a lot.
That's what.
I don't know where to find that.
That's where they're tracking here tonight. We're gonna welcome to being in my community with me. My family. We say goodbye at least 6 times, but we will get out of here. I promise you.
You're good.
We're gonna reveal our watch count.
Yes, please.
Our watch hours.
You tell me where to find it. I would love to pull it up for you.
So we'll go YouTube, go to home.
Okay.
Click on you.
Yep.
And then we will do
time watched right there.
Yeah, where'd you see it?
Right there on
At the bottom.
Yeah.
Ready? I'm so nervous.
I'm nervous that you think you have me beat. I don't know what is normal.
I wanted to see lifetime.
Oh, that would be devastating.
I'm not impressed by the 7 days.
Can you go longer?
You could say, remind me to take a break. Can you? I can't wait. Oh, sorry. There it is.
Oh no, you do have me beat.
Let's see if I can. Oh, you saw it?
I did see it.
All right. So
I thought I was a high performing, and then there's you.
No,
no.
There's no way to see. Maybe on
Lifetime would be insane. Maybe desktop.
All right. So
go ahead. Or do you want me to go since I'm lower?
Go for it.
Then wait, this is today. 3 hours and 5 minutes daily average. I'm down 14% from last week though.
And then your 7 day total?
7 day total, 21:36 hours.
I have a 5 hour, 40 minute today, and then a 7 day total of a work week. I have 37 hours, 45 minutes.
I thought I was a lot. I think my screen on time is probably a little bit higher though.
Yes.
I bet you watch desktop kind of stuff.
It's people. I'll be honest with you. Like, I put on a podcast, just rolls. It's a lot of videos. And no, I'm not gonna pretend. I'm not gonna talk down that number as if it's like just 12 podcasts. No, it's a lot of videos.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm watching filmmaking stuff a lot too, though. Like, I would say half my intake is probably like educational.
Sure.
Which should be billed by my employer. But I don't know who's dealing with that. But yeah, I mean, most of mine is like phone on podcast while I'm driving kind of stuff. Right. Especially with my commute being like 30, 35 minutes.
Up by your odometer, just watching while you're
It's on my thigh.
Yeah, dude, that's revealing, man. So some people, I was nervous to do that because I thought it was going to show Lifetime. And
my Lifetime is bad too, though. I'm surprised that's that low, honestly. I do feel like I watch a lot.
Yeah, but you said it was down, right? You said
it was down 14%, so whatever 14% of 30 or 21 or whatever I said. Or no, 30, whatever.
It's something.
It's something. It's like, well, that's like 35 or something, but
yeah. Dude, not just that, and revealing your YouTube history, watch hours, which, man, if this is on YouTube right now, comment yours. Oh, here it is. Here's the camera.
Hey, there it is.
That's how many YouTube hours do you have under your belt this past week? And if
Don't
you're on
be
desktop,
ashamed.
yeah, and if you're on desktop and it reveals more than that, dude,
I want to
send it.
know.
Put it in the chat.
I might have to check that out tonight. I'd be scared of that number just because you translate that to days and it's over. That's like half a year probably for me, if not more.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah,
People say you spend half your life sleeping. I spend half my life on YouTube.
there you go. But I mean, it's like what? It's the most trafficked web page in the world, or like both streaming site or something.
Dang.
Like, well, it's definitely the most popular streaming.
Yeah.
But like entertainment. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, in that and in this whole entire time, thank you.
Of course, thank you.
I truly believe that this will make its way to the internet. That's why I think we hung out here for so long.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Austin, for being here.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Auditing my life, auditing my creativity, auditing my education, and my YouTube hours.
Bro, we will have you back when I know what I'm doing.
You already know what you're doing, bro. You already do.
All right. Thanks, man.
Take it easy. Boom, baby. We did it. Let's go.